beloved. We all exist in a context. We all exist in an environment. And right now, the environment that we're in is pretty tense. I'm talking about national environment. And we're talking about all kinds of things lately. We're talking about gender and sexuality, and we're talking about Roe v. Wade, and all of these things touch on family. So the context that I'm living in right now is in that context, which is about family, and also that it's Mother's Day coming up, and also that I'm reading this book, A Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis. It's a book, really just some notes that he wrote down about his feelings about his wife after she passed away. And when you're talking about mothers, then you're also talking about partners. And this is what he had to say about his partner. What was Helen not to me? What was Helen not to me? She was my mother and my daughter, my pupil and my teacher, my subject and my sovereign, and always holding all of these things in solution, all of them together. My trusty comrade, friend, shipmate, fellow soldier, my mistress, but at the same time, all that any man friend, and I've had some good ones, has ever been to me, perhaps more. Now, that's a relationship. And I thank God that I have a relationship like that. Now, when you think of mothers, I always think, of course, of Paul's household codes. You know the ones I'm talking about. And that's the one where Paul says very clearly that wives should obey their husbands, and sons should obey their parents, and servants should obey their masters, and so on and so forth. And that what Paul is talking about is being talked about in a context. And that context is something called the paterfamilias. And that is the Roman idea of how a family is constructed. And that form is a form that is done worldwide. We still have it, but in its most stark form, in the form in which Paul is writing about, the oldest male member of the household, in that case, that would be me, would have absolute mastery over his entire household, up to and including life and death. So I could choose whether my son or my daughter-in-law or my mother lives or dies. And Paul is saying, okay, we have this code. You want to live in that way? All right. This is how you're going to do it if you're going to do it in a Christian way. There's something about Mother's Day I just don't like very much. It's one day. We give flowers, I remember making my mother breakfast several times for Mother's Day. Cold eggs, badly buttered toast. Here you go, Mom. Now do my laundry. We need to spend less time giving Mom a rose and more time imitating Mom. Because Mom, as we understand the ideal of what mother is precisely what Christ is. So what is a mother? What does a mother do? Well, a mother, first of all, is present. You show up. You are there at the birth. You are there when the diaper needs to be changed. You are there when the hand needs to be held. You are there for the soccer game. You are there for the doctor's dentist and little league and ballet and speech and whatever appointment. You're there. You meet needs. You take joy in success. You provide comfort in failure. You do not hold a grudge. You hold to a high standard and you teach to meet that standard. And you always, always, always think of the best. You are nurturing. And what is nurturing? Nurturing is taking the thing that you are nurturing and creating an environment where all of its full potentials can be realized. And that is motherhood. And that is precisely what a servant does. And that is precisely what Paul says we should imitate just before he says, if you want to live in this way, this is how you do it. Man, if you want to be head of the household, then take on the mind of Christ. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and in one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition and vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. That's what a mother does. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as in Christ Jesus, who, being in the very nature of God, did not consider equality with God something to be used in his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. So if you want to be head of a Christian household, then you need to take on the nature and mind of Christ, and that is the nature and mind of a servant, which is best expressed in what we see as the ideal mother. Now, we have not, any of us, been perfect. We have all made mistakes, and we have never been the mother, father, brother, sister, friend, lover, confidant, partner, that we want to be, that we are called to be. But we can start by taking this day and making it mean something. Go and be a mom. Go and be a servant. Go and do this in love. God bless.